Hey guys, it's Dan, your host of Dan's Reviews, and today I'm back for another video for Fear the Walking Dead. And in today's video, we're going to be doing our last Q&A video before the double series finale of Fear the Walking Dead. This one is going to be going over all your comments leading up to the end of the series. Alright guys, this one's going to be doing another video today. This one's going to be doing another video for Fear the Walking Dead. And in today's video, we're going to be doing another Q&A video leading up to the series finale, the double series finale of Fear the Walking Dead. We're going to go through some Q&A comments for today. This will probably be our last Q&A before Fear the Walking Dead comes to an end. But we're also going to do a Q&A, of course, after the show ends. And we'll give, our thoughts on the ending of the series. So we will do one more Fear Q&A. It'll just be after this, of course, after we see the double finale. And I did hear a few people that wanted me to go ahead and do a death predictions for the final 2 episodes of the series. So expect that later in the week. I will definitely be doing that as well too. So that'll be a video I am also planning. But without further ado, let's get right into it. So starting off from Daniel, the father Daniel, who says, Dan, do you think that it would have made more sense if Troy Otto had more screen time instead of these pointless episodes with like Dwight and Sherry or, Strand acting like Anton? Do you think it would have been better for Troy's character if he had his own POV bottled off episode instead of wasting time with Dwight and Sherry at the sanctuary? And do you think that would have helped Troy's villain arc in the final half? Absolutely it would have. Absolutely. I think that's my biggest problem with Troy so far in the second half, is that I like him. I do like him. He's one of the few things I like about this half season. But it's lacking the knowledge. And with 2 episodes left, you're not going to be able to give us a flashback episode of what he went through, right? So, it's unfortunate because, to be honest, especially when you have, and you said it best, especially when you have a flashback episode of Dwight and Sherry at the sanctuary that really doesn't have an actual outcome in the story, when you think about it, it does not have a real impact. When you could have given us a Troy backstory and develop his wife and develop, everything that Troy did leading up to the moments of 807, and I think that would have been really, really good. It's always good to tell backstory. It's always good to tell, the story of what happened, rather than just telling you, and they're barely doing that too. Like, they're leaving plot holes everywhere. So, yes, absolutely, I think that would have been a really good idea. It would have added way more to Troy's character, and I think it would have made us care more, simply, right? So, absolutely, I think that should have happened. The next one comes from The Filming Daniel, who says that, Dan, I gotta be honest, there are 2 episodes this season that I hear fans complaining about the most, which is Season 8, Episode 5 and Season 8, Episode 10. In your opinion, what is the worst episode? In my opinion, I'm gonna go with Episode 10, and I know that might sound crazy, but here's the thing. Episode 5, at least that episode was an episode about dealing with Morgan's trauma. At least it was about Morgan suffering a loss, and we get to see what he is doing during that time, And Grace's death, I genuinely thought was a sad death, to be honest. I think Grace's death was genuinely sad, and it actually had an outcome for, an episode, right? As bad as I thought a lot of the writing was in that episode, it is objectively has a point to it and is objectively better, right? Whereas episode 10, we have no answers on Alicia. We skip over a battle with Troy that we've been building to the whole season. And there's a lot of frustrating character decisions that make absolutely no sense. So I 100% would say episode 5 is better. Also, I just care more about Morgan than I care about, Madison and all this stuff going on. And my God, I would offend people when I say that. But yes, I think Morgan Jones is a way more fascinating character than Madison Clark. I'm sorry. And I overall, too, I would say that, Lenny James and his character in that episode had some cool scenes. Like when he's like, because I don't die, there's way more moments in that episode. And it's a bad episode. I don't like that episode either, but it's better than what we got this episode. We were dicking around the whole episode. I hate to say it. No answers on Alicia, no answers on, the Troy battle, no nothing. It was a absolutely utter waste of fucking time. It really was. Next one comes from Some Cup, who says, do we really need a double finale for the series that killed the idea of Walking Dead spinoffs? Ain't that some facts right there, man? I always talk about it, but it's so true. You cannot tell me that Fear did not ruin the idea of Walking Dead spinoffs. Because of how trash this show has gotten at so many points throughout its run, People do not trust Walking Dead spinoffs, and that's facts too. I remember before Fear the Walking Dead came out, back, way back in the day, like, what is it, like 9 years ago now, almost 9 years ago, 8, 9 years ago. I remember when that happened. It was back in 2015. Everybody was excited to see a Walking Dead spinoff because the main show was so great, right? And I remember when people were like, "Oh my God, there's a Fear series," or back in the day it was called Cobalt, right? If you, any guys OG Fear watchers, you remember that back when Fear the Walking Dead was originally called Cobalt, right? But anyway, point being, I remember people were really excited for Fear the Walking Dead back then, right? Because it was a spin-off of a legendary series. And then people saw how just mediocre it was, and then how shit it got over the years, right? And then everybody was just like, okay, I don't want to watch Walking Dead spinoffs. I don't want to watch them, And everybody since then does not like Walking Dead spinoffs. Like, when World Beyond was announced, nobody was going for it. When Tales was announced, nobody was going for it. Unfortunately, even Dead City and Daryl Dixon, they, the word of mouth spread that those two spinoffs were great, and they really are. Dead City and Daryl Dixon, I think, are fantastic spinoffs. But, unfortunately, it put this bad stigma out there for Walking Dead that, like, Walking Dead cannot do good spinoffs. And unfortunately, before Dead City and Daryl Dixon, I actually am somebody that will agree with that. I don't think Walking Dead knew how to do a spinoff until this year with Dead City and Daryl Dixon. I think they finally, started to realize that fans were not digging Fear, they were not digging World Beyond, they were not digging Tales, and whether you like some of those shows or you don't like those shows, successfully wise, Dead City and Daryl Dixon are doing way better than what Fear is doing, and, World Beyond and Tales and all this stuff. So, it goes to show you. It really does. And I think that Fear, unfortunately, put a bad kind of stigma out there for Walking Dead spinoffs. And it's sad because, Walking Dead spinoffs were hyped back in the day until Fear came along and kind of ruined that. So, yeah. But getting a double finale for Fear the Walking Dead, I don't mind, to be honest, because that just means that we get one less week of this shit. That means that we get this shit done in a few days, and that, that'll be it. We'll move on to better things. We'll move on to The Ones Who Live, which I can't wait to do videos on it. We're going to move on to Daryl's show, Like for anybody that's, like, sitting here saying, like, oh my God, Dan, like, you're doing so many Fear videos. Well, it's because that's what's popular right now. That's what's going on, right? I'm trying to wrap this shit up, and I'm trying to get this shit out of the way before the really good shows start. Like, I heard from Jeffrey Morgan that apparently season 2 of Dead City is going to be, filming soon. I'm like, hell yes, man. Like, let's get back to the good shows. Let's get back to the good stuff, right? Not this bullshit from Dumb and Dumber over here. So, yeah, but, yeah, double series finale. It definitely doesn't deserve it, but it means it goes by quicker, so that's for sure. Next one comes from Andy, who says that, Dan, can you elaborate a little bit on what you mean by Alicia Debnam Carey saying that she doesn't want to return to Fear the Walking Dead? Okay, so you guys are going to have to take my word on this. I did a video for this months ago, and I admittedly can't even remember what video it was because I've done so many. But we did do a video focusing on the fact that the actress for Alicia does not want to return. She said it in an interview for Saint X when she was doing a convention. She was doing a panel. And she was asked about the show. And again, you guys are just going to have to take my word for this because I cannot find that clip. It's been months now. But I remember she said specifically, she was asked about, do you miss being on Fear the Walking Dead? Do you miss, doing all the zombie stuff, right? And she's like, no. And honestly, finally, right? And it was a really like, whoa, what the fuck are you talking about? But again, it's like, I can't blame the actress for not wanting to return to Fear. I get it. I really do. The only way that, like, it would make sense for her to return is if she was written by better people. I'm sorry. That's just the truth. Like, if the Dead City cast was willing to get her, which I know Jeffrey D. Morgan has said countless times that he would love to have Alicia Debnam Carey on Dead City. And I honestly would be fine with it too, because I'm sure that they would write her a lot better on there than they would write her on Fear. That's just, that simple. I think that's the one shot they have. If Alicia's character is alive, that's the one shot they have to actually make her character work again, is to bring her to Dead City and make her a really good character, to be honest. That's the only way you're going to do it. Because if it's not that, man, I'm sorry to tell you, it's not going to work. The Fear writers suck. I mean, they suck. And it's, it's factually proven now. You know, I mean, they can't even do a penultimate episode right, and I got to give that episode a 2 out of 10 in the review, you know, and pretty much everybody agreed with my rating on the review that it was not a good episode. Episode 10 was not a good episode. So it goes to show you right there, these writers are not improving. If anything, they're continuing to just write fuckery and, you know, write bullshit every once in a while. And that's all there is to it. You know what I mean? It's sad. It really is sad what happened to Fear, because it could have been a great show had they have, you know, just stuck to the Dave Erickson vision, done more with it, really elaborate on it. I really think they could have had a really, really great spinoff, but they lost their chance. It is what it is. And the last one comes from Roblox, who says, Dan, do you think Fear will end good, or do you think it's going to be a dumpster fire ending? And I think that's a great final question for our Fear the Walking Dead Q&As over the years. That is our last one right there. Big final question, y'all. Big final question. Do we think Fear will end good, or will it be a dumpster fire? I'm going to go with the dumpster fire. I hate to say it. I really hate to say it. I think the only things that may redeem this is if we get some cool action, we get a few good visuals, you know, I think some of that could be good, but I don't think the overall conclusion of the story is going to be any S-tier type of delivery. It could be a mid-ending at best, you know what I mean? But I'm more so setting my expectations low so that if it is somehow a good ending, if they just pull it out of their ass and it's a good ending, well, there you go. You know, I mean, there you go. That's going to be a shock to the world, I think. But, you know, again, I hope that Fear has a good ending? Absolutely. I think it's a little late to redeem your show, but could you at least have a good ending? Hell, you know, I would not be against it. Please, God, don't make me suffer for 2 hours, you know? So, yeah, there you go. But I sure as shit know this. It's not going to be as good as the original Walking Dead 11/24. I damn well know that. So, because that finale was great. So, anyway, let me know in the comment section below, what do you guys think about Fear the Walking Dead? Thank you all for your participation this week for the Q&A, but in particular for all the years of Fear the Walking Dead Q&As that we've done on this channel. Thank you, everybody that participated in that. We will, of course, do one more Big Fear Q&A when the show wraps up, so that's not totally it, but thank you for all your participation over the years in the Q&A videos, all that stuff. It absolutely means so much to me. I said it last year for Walking Dead. I'm going to say it this year for Fear, as bad as the show is. I appreciate your support, I guess is the best way to put it, for the Fear content. Whether or not I'm bitching and complaining or I'm somehow complimenting something from this show, it's definitely, it's amazing to see. So thank you all so much. And of course, if you're new to the channel and you enjoyed this video, make sure to click the subscribe button so you don't miss any of the videos for Fear the Walking Dead. Be sure to follow me on Dan's The Walking Dead Reviews on Instagram, guys. And of course, I'll see you guys really soon for more videos for Fear the Walking Dead. Enjoy the rest of your day, guys, and peace out.